You'll recognise the questions on the screen from the previous video. In all the questions we've met so far, the numbers have been very easy. We went from 30 litres to 60 litres of fuel. Obviously, that means multiplying by 2. We went from 15 cows to 45 cows. And we recognised that that would be a multiplication by 3. The number of cows has gone up by a factor of 3. And our factory with 2 machines, they bought 4 more machines, so they had 6 machines. Again, a nice easy multiplication by 3. It was fairly obvious. Now, let's consider the following. Now, to get from 5 of something to 20 of something, we can already see that's a multiplication by 4. To go from 3 to 24 is going to be a multiplication by 8. But how do we go from 6 to 15? 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. We want to get to 15, so it's a number between 2 and 3. You may have realised the number is 2.5, but let's have a little think as to how we can actually find that number. Let's go back to our example at the top of the page. How do we know that this number is 4? What operation have we done to work this out? Well, actually what we've done is we've looked at the number we want to get to and we've divided it by the number we started with. So to get from 5 to 20, our factor that we multiply is 20 divided by 5, which is of course 4. And the same thing here, 24 divided by 3 gave us our 8. But we can do this in a different way. Instead of saying it's 8, we're actually writing 24 divided by 3 as a fraction. 24 divided by 3, 24 over 3 is a fraction. This is 8. So in this case, to go from 6 to 15, we're multiplying by a factor of 15 over 6. Now that does simplify to 2.5, but if we're comfortable leaving it as a top-heavy fraction, it is just a number after all, this makes this process quite simple. What do I multiply 8 by to get to 28? I multiply it by 28 over 8. What do I multiply 3 by to get to 7? I multiply it by 7 over 3. 7 over 3 is a number. It's a top-heavy fraction, but it's just a number. It's a number that's more than 2, but less than 3. How do I get from 5 to 9? I multiply by 9 over 5. 9 over 5 is the same as 1 4/5. So it's not quite 2. I'm not quite multiplying 5 by 2. I'm multiplying it by a number slightly less than 2 to get to 9. So if we start to think of this in problems, the total price of 3 bags of cement is £18.60. I've got 3 bags, but I want 7 bags. Thinking proportionally. Proportionally, how many more bags do we want? Not 4. We don't want 4 more bags. We're thinking proportionally. We want 7/3 times as many bags. That's 2 and a bit. That's 2 1/3. But if we can do it as a top-heavy fraction, we need 7/3 times as many bags. So if we need 7/3 times as many bags, it's going to cost 7/3 times as much. And using our calculator, that gives us an answer of 43.4, which I'm going to write as 43.40, £43.40. A flock of 16 sheep eat 28 kilograms of feed each day. How much feed would you expect a flock of 40 sheep to eat each day? Well, instead of dealing with 16 sheep, we're scaling up to a flock of 40 sheep. How much bigger is this flock of sheep? You can see it's more than twice as big. It is 40/16 times as big. That's a number slightly more than 2. But if we're happy to leave this as 40/16, it's just a number after all. And that means instead of requiring 28 kilograms of feed, we're going to need 40/16 times as much. So 28 times 40/16 is 70 kilograms. Try some of these in the next exercise.